Alright guys, we're back in action and we're just going to do a little recap of what we would have just done. As I said, my name is Thema Williams. I am a former elite athlete for Trinidad and Tobago. And today we're here with young and upcoming athlete Dylan Woodruffe. He is in the sport of track and field. He is a World U20 Finalist. He is a CARIFTA Gold Medalist. He is a national champion and he's an All-American athlete. Dylan, tell us a little bit more about where your passion for track and field began.
I'd say my passion for track and field began with my grandfather. His name is Wendell Motley. He was an Olympic medalist and Commonwealth medalist for Trinidad and Tobago. And also my cousin, her name is Layla Haynes. She represents Barbados, but she goes to school in University of Florida. And I mean, they're all in my family, so I had to keep it in my bloodline, and I had to do track also. That's why I would say I started.
Excellent. So, as somebody who has never competed in the CARIFTA Games, because gymnastics was not a part of the CARIFTA Games until last year, November, I had the honor of attending as a coach at the inaugural event in Jamaica. I want to ask though, what were your emotions like when you won that CARIFTA gold medal? Tell me a little bit about that experience last year.
Winning that medal was a big eye opener. It made me more eager to gain even more. It gave me more hunger. That's what it is. It gave me the hunger.
Right.
It made me hungry to get more and more. And I believe that this CARIFTA in Trinidad, not just me, Trinidad in general will get more medals. And I believe that every athlete, knowing that it's in the home turf, because we have home turf advantage,
right.
I would say that we're all eager and we're all hungry. And I think everyone would love to have that experience of getting a medal for gold, not just for their country, but in their country also, you know?
I agree. Now, Dylan, I know that this is your final year at the IMG Academy, which is one of the world-renowned student-athlete brands as it relates to education. I know that they create a pipeline of opportunities for athletes like yourself. Could you tell me a little bit about your program in terms of your nutrition, your mental wellness, as well as your recovery?
Well, in IMG, we have classes twice a week. This is a kind of school classes. It counts as like part of your sport. Right. We have classes twice a week. We either have mental, leadership, nutrition, and sometimes on a one-off, we'll have yoga. So you'll have those. And then in mental, it really teaches you about envisioning and kind of blocking out all that outside noise when you're competing, and how to like knock out all the like doubt you might have in your brain, kind of stuff. In leadership, they kind of teach you to take charge and really put your foot forward, I would say. And really just to take advantage of your opportunities, I would say. That's what leadership kind of does. And then nutrition, they're not strict on, oh, you have to eat this, or you have to eat this, but they'll advise you and kind of help you. You could have one-on-one meetings with any of the guys to kind of help you on what they think will be best to make the nutrition part correlate to your track and field part. You know? And then yoga, yoga.
It's yoga. So just to touch on that a little bit more, right? Because I know a lot of athletes out there are interested in experiences like this, where they get to maximize the idea of being a student athlete and learn how to manage the stress that comes and the rigor that comes with that. So I have to ask, could you take me through what a day is like in IMG Academy?
So day in IMG, we start 7:40 in the morning at school. And we have 3 classes. Some days we have 2. We go those days until 11:20 is our school day. Then after we have lunch, which is a slight break. In between, we get a breather. I like to take my nap in between. And then we have practice that starts at 1 or 1:30, depends on the day. But before practice, I would go to the training room. And then that's where I'll go do my rolling, my Theragun, use my trainer is there. Her name's Kiara. We'll go there and I'll either get maybe cupping, scraping, something I need to do before practice to get me primed up for practice. And then after that, I'll start practice and we'll do our little warm-up with my coach. He's very technical. So our warm-up is pretty technical, but I mean, it helps me a lot. I would say it gets my legs, and not just my legs, my whole body warm for practice. Then we'll go through our practice. Mondays, I'll kind of get back into practice days. So we'll do maybe some 80-meter runs on the turf or on the track in flats, not in spikes. Tuesdays, we'll hit the training harder. Is where we'll do like blocks, and then after we'll do something on the tail end just to kind of get you more fit for the runs. But yeah, then after practice, we'll either have some days twice a week, as I was saying, we'll have our APD sessions. So it'll be either nutrition, leadership, yoga, any of those in between. So that will start maybe at like 3:30 to 4. And then at 4:15 is where we have gym 3 times a week also. And that's where we'll do our strength work, hand cleans, all those different kind of things to get your legs ready. Then after gym, that we're done for the day. We normally end like 5, and then we're done for the rest of the day at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As a former athlete, I just feel it's kind of exciting to hear that there are programs like this now that literally cater for kids who not only want to focus on academics and want to do sports as well. And they're teaching you how to manage it entirely and holistically. So I love that. So with that being said, how would you say being at the IMG Academy has prepared you for your upcoming meets this year? In terms of, especially, we could narrow in on the CARIFTA Games, which is going to be held in Trinidad and Tobago from the 19th to the 21st of April this year, right? So how would you say IMG has prepared you for your upcoming meets this year?
I would say a lot of it has to deal with the nutrition, mental, and leadership part of IMG. I mean, of course, training and gym and all that helps because that's where you get your speed. But a lot of it's mental. I would say track and field is 60% mental. Right. I would say with track and field because you have to really envision what you're trying to do. Because I would say every time that's the thing I love about track and field. When you're doing track, each time you run, it's not just you're just running to come first. You're trying to do something you've never done before. You're trying to PR. You're trying to do something you've never done. Like let's say you run 10.6. You want to run 10.5. You've never done that before. Right. And a lot of people have, and that's what I love about track and field. And I would say a lot of the school, because a lot of it's envisioning on really what you're trying to do. And I would say school really helps you with that. And that's what you need for track. Yes. So I'd say that's what helps you.
Right. I really love that answer. As we know, track and field is one of the most competitive sports at the Olympic level, at the world level, on all levels, I would say, because there are quite a few people in the world who could run really fast, but there are only a few who could win, right? Sure. When we think about it. So I think it's what they teach you at IMG that really gives you the edge, you know? So moving forward, what would you say your expectations are for the upcoming CARIFTA Games? That is, if you were to qualify, what would your expectations be for the upcoming CARIFTA Games?
My expectations, well, I mean, it's always, of course, to get gold and really just make my country of Trinidad and Tobago proud. That's what I would say is my expectations. I mean, I would much rather win and get gold than, let's say, win a PB because it's medals. Medals is something you remember, and that's what I want. I want Trinidad to be remembered for how many gold medals we're going to get this year in CARIFTA. Yes,
I love that. I love that. The trials for the CARIFTA Games, of course, guys, coming up on April 5th, right? So we can look forward to that in Trinidad and Tobago as well. One more question. I think all athletes have to go through this. How do you deal with setbacks and challenges? How would you say your career thus far has prepared you to deal with things like injuries or disappointments? How would you say your career has prepared you for that?
A lot of it's mental because, I mean, last year and the year before, I dealt with quite a bit of injuries. I've torn my hamstring. I've dealt with many different things with injury-wise. And I mean, each injury, I would say, is a learning process because when you get one injury, you kind of learn, okay, one part. And then when you're strengthening up that one part and you maybe learn, okay, maybe I need to roll more before practice or each one of those little things. Eventually, when that injury is gone, you're still going to continue doing it because you don't want to get injured again. So each one of those little things add up. I mean, small steps make a big one. Exactly. So that kind of helps you to gain mobility. Right. I
agree. I think injuries were one of the periods where you had so much time that you had to tap into your mental. It was no longer about the physical side. It was about the emotional side, the mental side. And I think that has been so underscored in the past few years of sport, and now it's kind of coming to the forefront where they're focusing on it a lot more, which is why I think you do yoga and stuff at IMG Academy. So guys, we want to open the floor for some questions now. If anybody has any inquiries for Dylan, the floor is open and we'd love to hear your questions. But before we get into that, today's actually a very special day for Dylan, all right? And we just want to thank him again for coming out because today's actually his birthday, all right? So we'll sing a quick happy birthday. But I think you all should probably sing it, not me, right? Gymnastics was my sport. I think track and field is his. And I don't remember singing being a part of the mix or even in IMG is singing a part of the curriculum, right? So we won't sing, right? But guys, you all can imagine it, right? And we're opening the floor for questions. So let's go. Yeah. You could just turn the camera to us. We can. No questions as far? No questions as far, guys? Are you all sure? Once in a lifetime opportunity. The next time you meet him, he might be an Olympian. So, let's go. I could ask you a few questions. At what age did you start track and field, like running? Was your first experience like running? Or did you just, as a baby, take off running? Did you not even crawl or walk?
It was in primary school.
Yes.
I would say it's when I really started. And I was... How long have I been doing track?
What primary school did you go to?
Donross Preparatory School.
Alright, well, big up Donross, right? So you track and field teacher there.
Yeah.
The foundation.
Coach Clark. That was my OG. My secondary school was Fatima College.
Oh, alright. I'm sure they have a lot of Fatima people watching who are proud.
Hopefully. But I would say I've been doing track how long? Maybe 10 years. That's how long I've been doing track. So,
yes.
I mean, I started off, first Milo games came second. Okay. And I was like, I need to do a little better. Next one, I bossed them up a little bit. I did pretty good. Okay. And then from then on, Milo games that's where I really kind of started track. Secondary school, I grew. I got my growth spirit, so my coach had to change me because I was doing everything. I was doing 1, 2, and 4.
That was the question I was going to ask.
I was doing everything.
Yeah.
So I grew, and my times got slow, and I got kind of slow because I was growing.
Right,
my body wasn't accustomed to how much weight I was putting on.
Right.
So then he put me up to the 4. And boy, oh boy, that was rough. But I mean, I was running the 4. That's what I was doing. But I mean, at the same time, I have to be grateful because it was pure fitness I was getting from those 4s.
Yes.
And then my last day before I went to IMG, I was like, Coach, please let me run a little 1 or 2. Put me in. Let me run a little something. So then I went into the 100 and the 200, and I did pretty good for my age group then. I think I was maybe under 15, I don't know, maybe first year under 17. And that's when I kind of started sprinting, and I was like, okay, I got away from the 4 and I could stay in my little 1 and 2. And sometimes my coaches still make me run 4x4s.
Okay.
I open 4 once in a while just to keep fitness.
One question someone asked. How do you deal with anxiety and thoughts after a bad race?
Great question. A lot of it is you have to remember that you're not gonna have good days every single day. A lot of it is track and field is a lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs. But when those up comes, it's big ups you normally get. And a lot of it is you just have to remember that you have to trust the process, trust God's process, trust your coach a lot. That is what I have to say. Trust your coach. And that you just remember that maybe this race wasn't your time, but your time will come, and trust and keep training, keep consistent. And those thoughts, I mean, you just try not to think of them and think of the positive aspects of track and field.
Yes, I agree on that.
Any other questions?
I think you said something very funny there, because I know that it's ironic, right? I wanted to say time and beat speed, right? But here we are speaking to a track and field athlete where all you need to focus on is speed and then the time. So I agree with what you said. I think everything in its time and in its season, most importantly, So when it's raining in somebody else's life, it might be sunny in yours, Exactly. So do we have any more questions?
What tips do you have to improve block stats?
Well, okay, great. Here you go.
Well, first of all, block stats is probably my most difficult part of my race, I would say right now. And so I can kind of help you with that because, I mean, that's what I'm working on probably most. First of all, you have to remember to always, I'll give you 3 tips. First tip is drive through your shoulders. You kind of have to make that 45 degrees. You kind of aim for the stars, kind of in a way. Right. 45 degrees. And then second of all, that drag start thing that everyone's kind of doing now, my coach has been telling me, I used to do it and all. It works, but at the same time, it's not really going to help you in your race. Because if you think of it, you're causing friction on the ground, and that slows you down.
Right.
And then third of all, a lot of it is exploding. You have to remember, explode through your front foot also. A lot of people, like what I grew up learning, is kind of explode through that back foot and push off that back foot. Right. Whereas it's your front foot has all the load. Just remember, push off that front foot and make sure that back foot gets that great step. You have to exaggerate kind of that first step.
Okay. That was a really good answer because as somebody who does not know track and field, that fully explained it to me. Because when she asked the question, I was like, okay, I'm not going to understand. This is going to sound like gibberish. But it didn't. It made sense, right? Any more questions?
Somebody asked, what should inspiring person, what should a dad look like?
Diet. You want to touch on that?
Diet, yeah. I can help you with that. A lot of it is, my main thing, what I do is, I mean, I still kind of eat, but a lot of it is sugar. Sugar slows down your recovery process, and that is what's ideal for track and field if you don't want to get injured.
Right.
Recovery, because sugar causes inflammation, and then if you have, especially if you have an injury already, you kind of have to cut. That's why I mainly try to do a cut off like soft drinks and those kind of things.
Yes.
I mean, I'll have my dessert once in a while, but it's more soft drinks and the kind of everyday sugary stuff that you always eat. Try to cut them out more and just enjoy other things.
Okay, great. I agree with that. Slowing down on sugars definitely helps with inflammation a lot. So it helps you to recover quickly, especially if you are prone to injuries. So it's a really good answer. Any other questions from the audience? No? All right. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up. Yes. All right. So Dylan, just to close it off, I just have a few questions myself. From a social perspective, how do you balance the friends, the fun? Because it seems to me like IMG is also a very nice social setting. Yeah. A group of kids coming together at your age. Oh my God, it's got to be fun every now and then. So how do you balance the social life with being a student athlete?
A lot of it is just remembering your future goal. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, the fun right now will last. Like, oh, this perfect timing, because right now Carnival just passed. Right. And as we know, I'm away. So some of my friends flew down for Carnival and everything. And what I realized is, I have to think of a little bigger picture. I'm probably not going to be playing Carnival. If I stick with track and field, I'm not going to be playing Carnival till maybe I'm 30 something. Right. Because I cannot use that effort of coming down here, getting off my training, diet and everything. And that's a big sacrifice, because the part of training back, think of it, if you come down here, you will lose a week already from Carnival. Yeah. And then all the things you do in Carnival, that's minus in weeks. Because you have to build back to get to those points of views. So, I mean, it's just sacrifice. I mean, if you really want to be great in your sport, a lot of it is sacrifice. And you kind of just have to get used to it.
I agree.
Someone asked, how do you build the explosiveness and speed your notebook? Any specific exercises or drills?
A lot of it is gym. And in gym, we do a lot of hand cleans, if you all will know what that is. It's you kind of have a bar, and it's an Olympic lift. So you have the bar, and then you explode up and you kind of rotate it, and you catch it on like your shoulders. And then sometimes we even push it over our heads. The majority of the time, we just catch it here. And a lot of that is in the legs, because in blocks, you're using your legs to explode the blocks. So when you're pulling up that hand clean, you have to explode out of your legs, which kind of correlates to the blocks. And I mean, yeah, not even just blocks, that correlates to hitting the ground hard enough where you get your explosiveness. But I would say a lot of it's hand cleans and I wouldn't say, it's not really just killing weight and lifting heavy. It's just keeping consistent with that certain weight and keeping your form while you're doing it.
That was a really good answer. I like how technical the questions are actually. Do we have any more?
No. Someone asked about this sleeping pattern.
My coach is so strict on that. He says you need to get sleep is as much things you could do for recovery is like scrape, roll, all those things. Sleep is the most ideal. I mean, that's my favorite recovery way also. Yeah. Sleep is the most ideal recovery process, and I try to get as 9 hours of sleep on season, and you really have to keep consistent on your sleep, because that's the biggest parts of, I would say, sport is recovery, and sleep is ideal.
I agree. I really agree. And one of the things you told me, it actually kind of made me think about it, because in gymnastics, I finished practice around, I believe you finished practice at 8. Mm-hmm. Your cut-off practice at about 5, and you have weekends off, right? So I realized that within the program, a big part of the recovery side was prioritizing rest. Mm-hmm. So I really do appreciate how they take that time to kind of give you time to wind down and then get to bed. I love that. Any more questions?
Someone asked if super spikes really make a difference?
I mean, I think so. I would say like all the Nike Max Flies with the bubble. Right now I wear the Adidas SB3s. I would say they do make a difference because I generally think if Usain Bolt had those spikes, his world record would be even faster. So I mean, I generally think they do make a difference, but at the same time, a lot of it is still you are really still running. But I mean, it does a difference because scientifically they do difference because the bubble technically gives you more of a bounce at that ending of your race. Your legs start to kind of die out. The bubble does technically help you really get that bounce back up and give you impulse. My spikes have a plate in them, which is a carbon plate. So as you hit that ground, it kind of gives you that action wise, and it helps you, you know?
Yeah, it propels you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how technical, as I said, this discussion is. I mean, I've learned so much about track and field just by sitting here with you for like 30 minutes, right?
Someone asked, how do you balance academics and sports?
Okay.
IMG, my school, really helps me a lot with that because they understand, because everyone in that school is doing sports. I mean, they have those one-off people who might just be doing school, but majority, 99% of the school is doing sports. So they kind of understand the point of the balance in between. Like if I go to a track meet and maybe I might miss 3 days of school. We have a testing center where you go and take that test, and that guy in there, he knows all the subjects, so he kind of helps you with, like, let's say you have a math test, he'll know the math, so he kind of helps you with those things.
Okay.
And then just personal wise, after school, I mean, that's why I kind of have to lock in and do my schoolwork and stuff. But I mean, it's just you just have to not procrastinate. That's the biggest part. Just don't procrastinate. Yeah.
Someone asked, kind of personal, like, any goals outside of running?
Ooh, I actually love that question because while IMG provides a holistic experience, Delaney person, what does Delaney person want for himself outside of sports?
Okay. Personal wise, I'm going into college. This is my last year, so going into college. I'm right now in the recruiting process, but going into college, I think right now my ideal spot is majoring in environmental science because I enjoy like those kind of, like, people might find documentaries about the ocean and stuff boring, but I watch those to enjoy them, and I really enjoy those kind of things. I love the water. I love Trinidad culture down the islands, all those kind of different things. So I mean, it's really just, that's the things I kind of like. So I just kind of stuck with those things. I was talking about it with my mom because originally I liked business, but then, you know, everyone kind of likes business. So then I was like, what do I really like? And I enjoy environmental science and those kind of things. So I think that's what I'll be doing.
Super. You seem very well-rounded. You have your life very figured out. I think sports really helps with that.
Yeah, it does.
Right? So just to wrap up, I want to find out from you. I mean, I feel like a few years ago you were in this position where you were sitting admiring somebody else. Who are your mentors and how have they pushed you to where you are right now?
I would say I have many different mentors. My grandfather for sure is one.
Right.
I'll live up to that.
Of course.
Jareem Richards definitely is a huge mentor. And I actually have talked to him multiple times because I've made teams and he's been there, and he loves to give motivation, those kind of things. So I've talked to him all the time. And then also in IMG, Richard Thompson actually works there, former Trinidad runner. He works as a leadership coach. He's not my leadership coach, sadly, but I talk to him all the time. I'm up there, and I was talking to him right before I came here, and I was talking to him about CARIFTA and all these different things. So I would say those are my ideal mentors for track and field.
Well, Dylan, believe it or not, now you are a mentor to some of the younger kids watching, right? What are some words of inspiration you can give them before we close?
Inspiration-wise, I would just say trust in your coach. That is the biggest thing, and trust in the process. Like it's a long process, and you gotta think long-term, not short-term. Like there's different times. My first CARIFTA, I tried to make solo events, and I mean, I didn't make that. I made a relay, but yes, I was disappointed. But you have to think, okay, it's long term. I still got to represent the country, still got to do those different things. You just got to think of the long term goals, and maybe even if people are running, let's say people are running super fast times, and maybe you're not there yet. Don't think of, oh, I need to run that now. You still have so many different years to catch up and really make those times. Think of those short-term goals, and then those short-term goals will add